Victoria here. Welcome back to another video on my channel. Today's video is a collaboration with Nails by Katie Dutra. You guys have to make sure you check out her YouTube channel too. Some of the things that I love that Katie does is she is very helpful in her videos, the way that they're presented. Her videos are very clear, they're very well thought out. You can tell that she has like a plan and an organization to her video. It's just something that I really appreciate. That's something that I try to do in my videos too, and I find watching her videos really easy to do because of that. Her ombre video I mentioned in one of my recent videos because it was just so well presented. I was easily able to ombre effect after watching her video. What we decided to do in this collab video is something really fun. So we both have the Life is a Beach gel polish collection from Magpie Beauty, and we thought we would use this as our inspiration. And with these colors as our inspiration, we decided to design 3 nail tutorials for you. One easier one medium kind of level one, and then one harder level one. And that was really our only kind of stipulations about the collab. Other than that, it's do whatever you want. So I'm really excited to share with you the 3 ideas that I came up with, and make sure you check out Katie's channel too so you can see what she did for this collaboration as well. I decided to do a vintage nail set. For some reason, as soon as I pulled the green out of the Life is a Beach collection, I wanted to do a vintage set. So this is what I came up with, and there's actually going to be 4 different nail designs in this, but 2 of them are fairly simple to do. So let's get started. Design number 1, we are going to start with the pink nails. So I'm going to use the pink in the collection, which I believe is called Lil Lilo. And I'm just going to do 2 thin coats on both the pinky fingers and the thumbnails. You guys know that I like to match the pinky and the thumb. We're going to mix up the design a little bit on pinky and thumbs, and you'll see that soon. But first, we just need to get our 2 thin coats down. On every single nail after we have done our coats, we are going in with a velvet top from Magpie Beauty. I find it much easier to work on top of a matte top coat for your art. So I'm going to take some of the Wildflowers art paints. I really like using this art paint if I want something that's bold and pigmented but still kind of runny, so I'm able to move it around. All I'm doing here is loading up my brush so it's not too gloopy, but I can still get some good lines. I want to do on the pinky and one thumbnail straight down lines to get my vintage type of look. You'll notice when I'm painting lines that I'm using a striper brush that is really long because I'm creating those long lines. I'm also anchoring my pinky so that it's making my hand a little bit more stable while I'm creating these lines. I'm going to do the exact same thing on the thumbnail on the opposite hand. So right now we're working on the thumbnail on the left hand, and the pinky that we were just working on was on the right hand. Onto the other pinky and the other thumb, I'm going to do some polka dots with the biggest dotting tool head that I could find. So when you're doing your polka dots, I like to start at the cuticle, and that's where I'll space out my dots right down the center. And then when I'm going to put my dots down on the other side, I'm going in between those other 2 dots. I used to do dots kind of sporadic and all over the place, and I think it looks a little bit better if they are cohesive like this. So I'm always dropping dots in between the other dots. I personally prefer using paint for both the stripes and the dots because I find that with the gel it can be a little bit too raised and it can feel bumpy through the top coat. Taking this purple from the collection, I'm going to do 2 thin, actually not even 2 thin coats, because this one I find goes on just beautiful in one coat on the pointer fingers of the nail design. We are going to come back to the purple nails, but first let's move on to the more difficult one in the tutorial, which I think is fairly simple too, but I'll show you guys how to do this one. So we're going to go in and do 2 thin coats of this really pretty green, which completely inspired this entire set. As soon as I saw it, I knew that I wanted to do something vintage looking, and I'm doing my 2 thin coats on the middle fingers for this one. While the matte top coat cures on the green nails, I'm just going to take some of the green, the purple, and the pink that I was using, as well as some of this white from Magpie Beauty too, and I'm just going to mix up a bunch of different colors. Now I'm not mixing this a lot because I want that blended look for the flowers that I'm going to paint, so I am just doing it to get a different color, but I like the white kind of popping through, and you'll see why in a sec. Now these flowers are super simple. I'm just taking a really small pointed brush and I'm picking up some of the different colors that I put on my palette and just making little blobs on the nails. So I don't think this is overly difficult to make these florals, but it's the most difficult one in the tutorial here. So I don't want to make these too thick because I don't want them to feel raised on my client's nails here, but I do want to make sure that I'm getting some good decent coverage down. We're going to do this in 2 steps though. So right now we're just trying to get some color down on the nail. After that nail has cured, I'm going to go in with a little bit more of the white and colors on my brush, and I'm just going to go in the center. This is going to make the flowers look a little bit more dimensional. Now I just want to add some leaves, so I mixed up a little bit of black in with some of the green and a little bit of blue too to get this kind of darker turquoise tealy green type of color. But again, if the color of this green is a little bit mixed or a little bit random throughout the leaf designs, that's okay because I feel like it looks a little bit more realistic then. So these flowers you can really take to the next level and you can do some outlining and make them super fun, or you can just leave them like this and they just look like random little tiny roses on the nails. We're going to combine all of the different nails that I've showed you now onto the ring fingers. So I'm going to take a little bit of the green and just do a diagonal line to give myself a little bit of a guide, and then I'm going to paint that in. Then I'm going to take a brush that is kind of got a square edge because I find these a little bit easier to do the cleanup with, and it's soaked in alcohol. On the opposite ring finger, I am going to go the opposite way for the green color, so both it's on the tip and the diagonal is a little bit different. Again, this will all make sense at the end, but I did notice that I was going to need 2 coats of this green. I decided not to do the 2 coats because it's mostly going to be covered up with those flowers anyway. On the right hand, I'm going to take some of that pink and just fill in the other side of the nail tip here. After my matte top coat has cured on that pink nail, I'm going to go in and do some polka dots the exact same way that I did on a full pink nail, just cut in half. So I'm mimicking that, but I'm obviously stopping before I get down to the green, but it is the exact same way that it looks, if that makes sense. On the ring finger on the left hand, I decided to go in with some of the purple instead of the pink, and I thought this would bring a little bit more purple to the design, so they don't match obviously, but it's going to make it all look cohesive when it's all done. Now I'm going to go in and add some flowers on top of the green portion here. So anywhere there is green on my nail design, I'm going in and adding flowers on top of it with the exact same steps as the flowers in the bigger nails. Just adding some of my finishing touches here. So on this nail, I'm just going to go in and add a white stripe to separate the 2 patterns. I just thought that this would make it look a little bit more vintage and a little bit better. Now back to the purple nails. I decided to go in with some lace on these nails, and I really like this plate from CJS number 178. This lace pattern in the top is my favorite because you can position it on your nails in just about any way. So on this nail that had the purple and green divide, I decided to make this my line across it, and I'm just spinning my stamper to add a little bit more lace to it. And I'm going to do the exact same thing on the full purple nails. I just put a little bit of it down and then I take it off and spin my stamper, and whatever is left, I'm just going to fill in a little bit of the gaps, but I do not want to lose that purple. I just want to add a little bit of accent to the nail. These are how my nails look when they are all done. I decided to make everything matte because I really like how it looks, with the exception of the green, because I didn't want to lose that shiny flower type of look on the green. So I'm going in with matte on any of the other colors, and then I'm taking my shiny and going in over top of the green. And when I do the nails that are diagonal, I just angle my brush to cover up half of the nail depending on if it's matte or shiny. And this is how my design turned out. So even though it's a bright summer collection, you can tone it down depending on how you pair the different shades with it. And this design is available now on Ivory and Talia Designs for order. Remember, you can change any of the colors in our designs too. We do have a promo going on right now on Ivory and Talia Designs that if you order one of our pre-designed sets such as this one, we are going to throw in a free set of plain nails that will match it. So for example, in this one, I'd probably throw in a purple or pink set, and then that way you would have 20 nails and you can mix and match them depending on what you're wanting to wear. I could see this design looking really cool with some neutrals or some teals as well. Make sure you head on over to Katie's channel and see what she did for her 3 designs. I cannot wait to see that rainbow one in the middle. Oh, I just love her videos, so I'm really looking forward to seeing how she came up with the 3 of these. Make sure you're following me on all my social media, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!